Act 2. At rise of curtain, it is only a second or two later. The jurors are in the same position as they were at the end of Act 1. 3. After brief pause. All right, who did it? What idiot changed his vote? 8. Is that the way to talk about a man's life? Sits in his place again. 3. Whose life are we talking about? The life of the dead man or the life of a murderer? 7. I want to know. Who? 3. So do I. 11. Excuse me, this was a secret ballot. 3. No one looked while we did it, but now I want to know. 11. A secret ballot. We agreed on that point. No? If the gentleman wants it to remain a secret. 3. Standing up angrily. What do you mean? There are no secrets in here. I know who it was. Turns to 5. What's the matter with you? You come in here and you vote guilty, and then this, nods towards 8, slick preacher starts to tear your heart out with stories about a poor little kid who just couldn't help becoming a murderer. So you change your vote? If that isn't the most sickening. 5 edges away in his chair. Foreman. Now hold it. 7 sits again slowly. 4 to 3. I agree with you that the man is guilty, but let's be fair. 3. Hold it. Be fair? That's just what I'm saying. We're trying to put a guilty man into the chair where he belongs, and all of a sudden we're paying attention to fairy tales? 5. Now, just a minute. 3. Bending towards 5, wagging finger at him. Now, you listen to me. Foreman, rapping on the table. Let's try to keep this organized, gentlemen. 4. It isn't organized, but let's try to be civilized. 11. Please, I would like to say something here. I have always thought that a man was entitled to have unpopular opinions in this country. This is the reason I came here. I wanted to have the right to disagree. 3. Do you disagree with us? 11. Usually I would. In this one case, I agree with you. But the point I wish to make is that in my own country, I'm ashamed to say, 10. Oh, now we have to listen to the whole history of your country? 3. Sits again in disgust. 4. It's always wise to bear in mind what has happened in other countries when people aren't allowed to disagree. But we are, so let's stick to the subject. 7. Yeah, let's stick to the subject. To 5. I want to ask you, what made you change your vote? 3. I want to know too. You haven't told us yet. 5. Why do you think I did change my vote? 7. Because I do. Now get on with it. 9. Quietly. There's nothing for him to tell you. He didn't change his vote. I did. All look at 9. 5 to 3. I was going to tell you, but you were so sure of yourself. 3. Sorry. To 9. Okay, now. 9. Maybe you'd like to know why? 3. Not giving him a chance. Let me tell you why that kid's a foreman. The man wants to talk. 3 subsides. 9 to Foreman. Thank you. Points at 8. This gentleman chose not to stand alone against us. That's his right. It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone, even if you believe in something very strongly. He left the verdict up to us. He gambled for support, and I gave it to him. I want to hear more. The vote is 10 to 2. Jurors 2 and 4 get up at about the same instant and walk to the water cooler as 10 speaks. 10. That's fine. If the speech is over, let's go on. Foreman gets up and goes to the door left, pulls tagged knife from the wall, and knocks on the door. The door is opened by the guard. The foreman hands the guard the tagged switch knife. Guard goes out, and the foreman takes the other switch knife, closes it, and puts it in the middle of the table. He sits again. The other jurors talk on in pantomime as 2 and 3 stand by the water cooler. 4, filling cup. If there was anything in the kid's favor, I'd vote not guilty. 2, I don't see what it is. 4, handing cup to 2, then drawing drink for himself. Neither do I. They're clutching at straws. 2, as guilty as they get. That's the kid, I suppose. 4, it's not that, it's that one juror that's holding out, but he'll come around. He's got to, and fundamentally, he's a very reasonable man. 2, I guess so. 4, they haven't come up with one real fact yet to back up a not guilty verdict. 2, it's hard, 4, yes, it is. And what does guilty beyond a reasonable doubt really mean? 2, what's a reasonable doubt? 4, exactly. When a life is at stake, what is a reasonable doubt? You've got to have law and order. You've got to draw the line somewhere. If you don't, everyone would start knifing people. 2, not much doubt here. 4, 2 men think so. I wonder why. I really wonder why. 2, you do hear stories about innocent men who've gone to jail or death sometimes, then years later things turn up. 4, and then on the other hand, some killers get turned loose and they go and do it again. They squeeze out on some technicality and kill again. Throws his cup into the wastebasket, walks back and sits. We then hear 3 say to 5. 3, look, buddy, now that we've kind of cooled off, why, I was a little excited a minute ago. You know how it is. I didn't mean to get nasty. Nothing personal. 2 trails back to his place and sits again. 5, after staring at 3 for a moment, okay. 7 to 8, look, supposing you answer me this. If the kid didn't kill him, who did? 8, as far as I know, we're supposed to decide whether or not the boy on trial is guilty. We're not concerned with anyone else's motives here. 7, I suppose, but who else had a motive? 8, the kid's father was along in years, maybe an old grudge. 9, remember, it is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This is an important thing to remember. 3 to 10, everyone's a lawyer. To 9, supposing you explain to us what your reasonable doubts are. 9, that is not easy. So far, it's only a feeling I have. A feeling, perhaps you don't understand. 3, abruptly, no, I don't. 10, a feeling? What are we going to do? Spend the night talking about your feelings? What about the facts? 3, you said a mouthful. To 9, look, the old man heard the kid yell, I'm going to kill you. A second later, he heard the father's body falling, and he saw the boy running out of the house 15 seconds after that. 7, where's the reasonable doubt in that? 12, that's right. And let's not forget the woman across the street. She looked into the open window and saw the boy stab his father. She saw it. 3, now, if that's not enough for you, 8, quietly firm, it's not enough for me. 4, what is enough for you? I'd like to know. 7, how do you like him? It's like talking to a dead phone. 4, the woman saw the killing through the windows of a moving elevated train. The train had 5 cars, and she saw it through the windows of the last 2. She remembers the most insignificant details. 3, well, what have you got to say about that? 8, I don't know. It doesn't sound right to me. 3, well, supposing you think about it. To 12, lend me your pencil. 12 hands him a pencil. Let's play some tic-tac-toe. Draws an X on a piece of paper and then hands pencil and paper to 12. We might as well pass the time. 8, this isn't a game. Rises and snatches paper away. 3, jumps up. 3, now, wait a minute. 8, this is a man's life. 3, angrily, who do you think you are? 7, rising. All right, let's take it easy. 8 sits again. 3, I've got a good mind to walk around this table and belt him one. Foreman, now, please, I don't want any fights in here. 3, did you see him? The nerve, the absolute nerve. 10, all right, forget it. It don't mean anything. 6, how about sitting down? 3, this isn't a game. Who does he think he is? 6 and 10 urge 3 back into his seat. 7 sits again and all are seated once more. 4, when quiet is restored. Weren't we talking about elevated trains? 8, yes, we were. 4, so? 8, all right, how long does it take an elevated train going at top speed to pass a given point? 4, what has that got to do with anything? 8, how long would it take? Guess. 4, I wouldn't have the slightest idea. 7, neither would I. 9, I don't think they mentioned it. 8 to 5, what do you think? 5, about 10 or 12 seconds, maybe? 8, I'd say that was a fair guess. Looks about. Anyone else? 11, I would think about 10 seconds, perhaps. 2, reflectively, about 10 seconds, yes. 4, all right, we're agreed. 10 seconds to 8. What are you getting at? 8, this. An L train passes a given point in 10 seconds. That given point is the window of the room in which the killing took place. You can almost reach out of the window of that room and touch the L train, right? Foreman, that's right, I tried it. 4, so 8, all right. Now, let me ask you this. Did anyone here ever live right next to the L tracks? 5, I've lived close to them. 8, they make a lot of noise, don't they? 5, nods. I've lived right by the L tracks. When your window is open and the train goes by, the noise is almost unbearable. You can't hear yourself think. 10, impatiently. Okay, you can't hear yourself think. Get to the point. 8, the old man who lived downstairs heard the boys say. 3, interrupting. He didn't say it. He screamed it. 8, the old man heard the boy scream, I'm going to kill you. And 1 second later, he heard a boy fall. 1 second. That's the testimony, right? 2, right? 8, the woman across the street looked through the window of the last 2 cars of the L and saw the body fall, right? 4, right? 12. So, 8, slowly. The last 2 cars. Slight pause, then repeats. The last 2 cars. 10. What are you giving us here? 8. An L train takes 10 seconds to pass a given point, or 2 seconds per car. That L had been going by the old man's window for at least 6 seconds, and maybe more before the body fell, according to the woman. The old man would have had to hear the boy say, I'm going to kill you, while the front of the L was roaring past his nose. It's not possible that he could have heard it. 3, what do you mean? Sure, he could have heard it. 8, with an L train going by? 3, he said the boy yelled it out. 8, an L train makes a lot of noise. 3, it's not enough for me. 4, 3, it's enough for me. 4, it's enough for me too. 9, I don't think he could have heard it. 2, maybe the old man didn't hear it. I mean with the L noise. 3, what are you people talking about? Are you calling the old man a liar? 8, shaking his head, something doesn't fit. 5, well, it stands to reason. 3, you're crazy. Why would he lie? What's he got to gain? 9, attention? Maybe? 3, you coming up with these bright sayings. Why don't you send one into the newspaper? They pay $2. 8, hard to 3. What does that have to do with a man's life? Then to 9, why might the old man have lied? You have a right to be heard. 9, after moment's hesitation, it's just that I looked at him for a very long time. The seam of his jacket was split under his arm. Did you notice that? He was a very old man with a torn jacket and he carried 2 canes. Gets up, moves right, leans against the wall. I think I know him better than anyone here. This is a quiet, frightened, insignificant man who has been nothing all his life, who has never had recognition, his name in the papers. Nobody knows him after 75 years. It's a very sad thing. A man like this needs to be recognized, to be questioned and listened to and quoted just once. This is very important. 12. Are you trying to tell us he lied about a thing like this just so he could be important? 9. No, he wouldn't really lie, but perhaps he'd make himself believe that he heard those words and recognized the boy's face. 3. Well, loud and brassy, that's the most fantastic story I've ever heard. How can you make up a thing like that? 9, doggedly, I'm not making it up. 3, you must be making it up. People don't lie about things like that. 9, he made himself believe he told the truth. 3, what do you know about it? 9, low but firm, I speak from experience. 7, what? 9, I am the same man. 4, I think we all understand now. Thank you. 9 moves slowly back to table and sits. 3, as 9 sits. If you want to admit you're a liar, that's all right by me. 8, now that is too much. 3, he's a liar. He just told us so. 8, he did not say he was a liar. He was explaining. 3 to 9. Didn't you admit that you're a liar? 8 to 3. Please. He was explaining the circumstances so that we could understand why the old man might have lied. There is a difference. 3. A liar is a liar. That's all there is to it. 8. Please have some compassion. Foreman. Gentlemen, please, we have our job and our duty here. 4. I think they've covered it. 8. I hope we have. Foreman to 8. All right. Is there anything else? 2 holds up a box of cough drops and speaks to the foreman. Cough drop? Foreman waving it aside. No, thank you. 2 hesitantly. Anybody want a cough drop? Offers box around. Foreman sharply. Come on, let's get on with it. 8. I'll take 1. 2 hands him the box. Thank you. Takes 1 and returns the box. Now, there's something else I'd like to point out here. I think we proved that the old man couldn't have heard the boy say, I'm going to kill you. 3. Well, I disagree. 4 to 3. Let's hear him through anyway. 8. But supposing the old man really did hear the boy say, I'm going to kill you. This phrase, how many times has each of you used it? Probably hundreds. If you do that once more, Junior, I'm going to murder you. Come on, Rocky, kill him. We say it every day. That doesn't mean that we're actually going to kill someone. 4. Don't the circumstances alter that somewhat? 12. The man was murdered. 3. One more thing. The phrase, I'm going to kill you, and the kid screamed it out at the top of his lungs. 4. That's the way I understand it. 3. Now, don't try and tell me he didn't mean it. Anybody says a thing like that the way he said it, they mean it. 10. Oh, and how they mean it. 8. Well, let me ask you this. Do you really think the boy would shout out a thing like that so the whole neighborhood would hear it? I don't think so. He's much too bright for that. 10. Exploding. Bright? He's a common, ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English. 11. Slowly. He doesn't even speak good English. 4. The boy is clever enough. 4's line is spoken as 10 rises and glowers at 11. There is a momentary pause. 10 sits again as 5 gets up and looks around. He's nervous. 5. I'd like to change my vote to not guilty. 3 slams his fist on his head, then walks to the window and does it again. Foreman, are you sure? 5. Yes, I'm sure. Foreman, the vote is 9 to 3 in favor of guilty. 4 to 5. I'd like to know why you've changed your vote. 5. I think there's doubt. 3. Turning from the window, snarling. Where? What is the doubt? 5. There's the knife. 7. Slamming his hand down on the table. Oh, fine. 10. He, motioning at 8. He talked you into believing a fairy tale. 4 to 5. Go on. Give us the reasons. 5. The old man, too. Maybe he didn't lie. But then just maybe he did. Maybe the old man doesn't like the kid.